Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to Modern Warfare in Depth. In today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at two weapons. One has been recently buffed, and the other one I just discovered to see if either of them is viable for Warzone. That's the MG34 and the Striker 45 with hollow point mags. I do want to apologize up front for what's probably going to be insanely bad audio again. I took all of your advice and bought a pop filter, which helps with the mouth noises, but unfortunately tonight I have to record this in the middle of a thunderstorm, also with crickets chirping, also with my wife crafting, and both of my dogs are having a panic attack during the thunderstorm, so they've crawled into my lap for safety and attention. So if you hear little pants throughout the video, that's them. Just a pro tip to you up-and-coming creators out there, this is not the way that you want to record your live audio. This is very distracting, and he loves to make little noises into the mic. You're such a good boy. We give you a big dog squish. I promise you that one of these days I'll have a good audio setup. For now, let's take a look at the MG34 and Striker 45, which was recommended by one of my mods, Proc Prime. The MG34 is always a weapon that I've had my eye on because it's had a very fast time to kill, at least mathematically speaking. It kills much faster than any of the light machine guns and faster than not quite every, but almost every AR and SMG. It's extremely competitive. If you want to look at this in time to kill over range, it's probably the best weapon at long ranges. It outperforms the PKM, the Growl, and MP5 in this respective. It also has a shockingly fast fire rate at 860 rounds per minute, which is kind of nuts for an LMG. They're usually around 600 to 500. And if you're using the base weapon, the overall accuracy and range of your damage drop-off is quite good. Good bullet ballistics, too. I just never recommended this weapon because it had two major downsides. The first of which is an open bolt firing delay. This is the delay between when you pull the trigger and when the weapon actually shoots, and Infinity Ward decided to simulate the minor delay on an open bolt weapon by having these artificial, trigger delay times. Exclusive Ace, I'm going to give all credit to him because he was the one that did the math and discovered this in his previous patch notes video, discovered that a lot of the LMGs were buffed, and most notably, the MG34 was buffed by reducing the open bolt firing delay from 317 milliseconds down to only 67 milliseconds. That's a massive improvement of almost a whole quarter or a third second. It's going to make it feel like it's shooting way quicker, and compared to where it used to be, it'll basically feel instantly. This also improves your effective time to kill, because one of the reasons I wouldn't recommend it is that your time to kill would be longer because you would see somebody pull the trigger and have to wait, and that would kind of skew all of the numbers negatively in your favor. So with the new buff on this weapon, if you add the 67 milliseconds to the MG34's current time to kill, it makes it kind of mediocre, maybe a little bit better than average, but nothing exceptional. However, that only applies to ideal scenarios. Time to kill is a calculation of, we're both shooting each other and nobody misses and nobody's behind cover and nothing crazy happens and there's no healing. And in reality, none of your gunfights are going to work like that. There's going to be chaos, there's going to be cover and bombs going off and stuff. So in a real gunfight, the MG34 will still be a top tier time to kill just machine. It just shreds people. I mean, seriously, this gun just shreds people to bits. It's especially hilarious if you get to set up and let them run into your bullets. The second downside, however, is still kind of a deal breaker for me, and that's that the weapon is slow. So that's slow aim down sights time, slow sprint out speed, slow movement speed, slow swap time. It's pretty rough, and the one that gets me the most actually is the swap time, because I usually have a sniper or an SMG backup or something like that, and I'm constantly swapping weapons depending on the scenario. So for this particular setup, I have to run amped, or I'm just totally screwed. It's kind of miserable if you're not running amped. Personally, I just find it very hard to use this weapon because I value fast reaction time weapons. I really like to move and shoot and be responsive and adapt to the situation. I hate being slow. I hate dying because I'm swapping weapons. I hate not being able to reload. I hate, not being able to outrun the zone. And you can, and I have kitted in this video, the MG34 to make it faster. You can remove the stock, you can put on a laser, you can change the barrel, you can do a lot of things with it. But unfortunately, by the time you've done enough things to make the weapon fast or acceptably fast, the recoil has become almost unmanageable. It kicks like a mule, and it feels like I'm back to playing Valorant and violently pulling down on my mouse to compensate for the aim. So with the MG34, despite having an awesome time to kill in every build, I have to choose between being slow or having high recoil. I chose to have high recoil. And in my opinion, ultimately the MG34 isn't viable because it's not all-purpose enough. You can only count on it for slow, long-range poking fights, if you go the slow build, or very close-range fights where you're already set up decently and you don't have to react too fast, even with the speed build. It's not something that's going to work in every single scenario, and I want to show you how it fares against the Kimbo snake shots as well.
It's one versus one versus one. One guy is behind the truck and one guy is to your left with pushing now on the truck. Good stuff. The other guy's to your left.
What? Kimbo snake shots, man. Did you see the distance? I had full health.
Yeah.
I was not hurt at all. Not even a little bit.
I think he was hacking because he lasered us.
No, I almost had him dead earlier. That's, you know what? That's a win. That's actually a win. Okay, that's somewhat unfair because nothing beats akimbo snake shots. They're monstrously broken and badly in need of a nerf, which I hope is coming soon. But the second weapon today is the more interesting of the two, and it's the one that I'm ultimately going to recommend, which is the Striker 45 with 45 hollow point mags. I never in my life would have tried such a thing in Warzone, but one of my mods, Proc Prime, carried me with this a couple of days ago. She was just shredding people with this gun. I'd been downed and BM'd and I was out and I was spectating, and then I saw her pull out the Striker 45 with 12 rounds and I'm like, okay, yep, I am never getting a buyback. She just murdered everybody. I didn't know what was going on, but I still didn't believe it because it was such a goofy gun, and this is coming from a goofy gun expert. She's been recommending it all the time, sent me the class. This is the class right here on the screen, and Proc and several other of my Discord admins actually recommended that I watch two furry animes, Beastars and BNA, which again, I didn't trust these recommendations, but eventually relented, and both of those shows were absolute bangers. If you're stuck in quarantine, they're quite fun to watch, even though I promise you I'm actually not a furry. It's been a wild ride here in quarantine. So, since the anime was good, I decided to try out the Striker 45, and it's kind of amazing. When you look at it mathematically, the 45 hollow point mags give it the fastest time to kill in the SMG class, and I think it may be the fastest overall time to kill weapon. I just never would have recommended it before because of all the goofy things that we'll be talking about very shortly, but it's the fastest by a pretty big margin. It kills in 400 milliseconds compared to 455 milliseconds for the AUG and 525 for the MP5. So each bullet will also deal 50 damage per hit, which is just insane. Now that's hitting upper chest, and that means you only need 5 shots to down somebody, which is something that very few weapons in this game can accomplish. You get 77 damage for shooting somebody in the head, which is ludicrous. You have a negligible drop-off at 48 damage for stomach shots and 43 for chest and limbs, so that's overall a massive damage output per shot, and at the very least, a very efficient way to spend your ammo. And personally, I get much better performance out of this in burst mode than I do in single fire. I don't think single fire is the optimal way to use this weapon. On top of all of this, if you make your class similar to the one that I showed off, which is the longest barrel, you put on muzzle brake and optics and a few other little things, your ammo change, what you're going to end up with is a very accurate and very predictable Striker 45 that also has insane range, because the ammo counter, the ammo that you use is going to boost your range, and the barrel is going to boost your range, and it's going to be kind of nutty. Nutty to the point where it's very easy to work this submachine gun like a DMR and harass sniper rifles or have long-range poke fights. And the 50 damage maintains out to a range so far, to be honest, I can't measure it. I have no idea how far it goes. I can just promise you that it's quite far. And it's just easy to use. If you wanted to alter the class a little bit, you could probably trade out the muzzle brake for the suppressor. I don't like being on radar, but the muzzle brake really does help quite a lot with my horizontal inaccuracy, my left-right, so it kind of tightens it up and makes it more predictable. You may not believe me, but this little gun is an absolute powerhouse, and as a bonus, it's much faster and snappier than you would expect. Typically, when you kit LMGs like this, especially something like the AUG, it just gets really, what's the right word, slow and unbearable and clunky. This one's actually still pretty snappy, which is good. Unfortunately, now that the storm has passed, the cicadas and crickets and whatever weird bugs are making noises are back out, and my dogs are still scared, so I can't fix that. So we're just going to keep on going and hope to God the noises aren't too bad. There's only one real downside, which is magazine capacity. You only have 12 rounds per magazine, and there's no way to extend that. You can't have extended 45 hollow point mags. And 12 round mag is just downright brutal, not just for an SMG, but any weapon. That gives you enough ammo to theoretically kill 2 people maximum before you have to reload. I guess maybe as a benefit you could say it helps conserve SMG ammo, but I'm not sure how much benefit ammo conservation is compared to having a big mag. And the problem is that you have enough ammo to like maybe hip fire one person. It is kind of filthy up close with hip fire. People don't expect to get their armor chunked that quickly. Or, you know, maybe if you're in a good, like, actual gunfight, you can down 2 people. But after you've downed 2 people, you're going to need to get to cover really fast because you're going to have to reload. So that means in order to complement your submachine gun, you're going to need a spray AR or a shotgun or something, which is very odd. This is a weapon that I would recommend running with a class where you're running AR and SMG for those of you that play that way. And on the SMG play side of this, if you don't mind playing a little bit more conservative, not even like that much more, you don't have to go that conservative with this weapon, just a little bit more, this class will reward you greatly. It won't be for everybody, it won't be easy to use, you're not going to maybe fall in love with it at first, but it's quite strong, and I think a lot of you could have fun with it. I think it could fit into the playstyles of many of you. And at the very end of the video, I want you to enjoy me getting a win with this setup and just a funny clip from my Mixer stream. I'm streaming basically every day on Mixer now because I have nothing to do to quarantine. You should stop by sometime. It's actually kind of fun. And hopefully, maybe eventually, one day, I'll be able to record audio without parties and thunderstorms and dogs and new mics and other chaotic stuff and just have fantastic quality for you. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned something useful, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out. I think there's a little hole in the roof. Nico, I think we need to go up the roof like last minute, like now.
Are you gonna buy? Is there even a buy station?
No, there's no buy station. This is...
Yeah.
Are they up?
Oh, no.
Gas is moving.
Wait for him to get kicked off the other building. That's what would spook me.
Yeah, I think they're coming over up here though. Kill one.
The whole squad out there, they're really well set up.
Target marked.
He had no armor.
Yeah, they don't have much armor either.
Down one. Dead.
Less than 5.
Down another one.
Don't let him self-res.
Get to the new
One more on our right, behind the blue truck.
This is it. Do or die.
Blue truck, okay.
Yeah. This has to be it, I think.
Primary objective complete.
Hey! Nice job and a nice win with 2 very off-meta weapons. I like it.
Hell yeah.
Look at our scoreboard, team. That's actually really even spread overall. The kills didn't spread, but the damage spread really well, so I like that. Now, let's go get our loadout drop, team.
I need some.
Gosh, Mickey.
Oh no, that was good.
I can't even. I can only just do a couple of like Disney ones, but it drives Jessica crazy. Of course, Jessica. You sure ate a lot of mashed potatoes tonight. Hey, Oz, what do you think? Was that a good clip? Ozzy, was that a good clip, bro? Huh? Put that in depth? Okay, good advice. Professional YouTuber, by the way, trying to do commentary in a thunderstorm with crickets and 2 dogs. I got 1 lap warmer, 1 too fat for my lap. They're both panting and making noise, and my wife is printing God knows what over here. So I'm trying today. I'm trying hard, I promise you.